welcome to another installment of Free Game. And today we're talking about Love Island USA and the emotional intelligence lessons that we could learn, particularly from watching the Kendall debacle that took place last night. For those who were on the live 5 minutes ago, I apologize for the delay of me having to hop off and hop back on. My mom's medical people, her medical team was calling me, and I asked them to schedule time with me, and they didn't listen. I said, please do not just call me whenever you feel like it, because of the work that I do, you could be interrupting me, and they didn't fucking listen, and they called me in the middle of my life. So I apologize for that. I'm also deeply annoyed, because here's the thing, guys. When you are someone who is a clear communicator, and you give people an opportunity to act in a way that proactively prevents inconvenience, and they completely fucking disregard it, when it could have easily just been adhered to, it's annoying. So I am annoyed, and my mother got what she needed. So they know to not fucking call me for the rest of this live. Ugh. Mercury retrograde is an interesting time because as someone who's a clear communicator, it's always wild to watch how people completely disregard you doing your part by not doing theirs. Anyways, let's get back. Lack of respect, exactly. It's a lack of respecting my time. And one of the things I will say before we get into the topic of the day is that when people do not respect you, when you are proactively creating a space for everybody to be successful, you make it hurt. You make it inconvenient. I said, I told you not to do this. You blatantly disregarded it. At what point will you start respecting my time? Because this has been happening for months. And they apologized, and I said, don't apologize through words. Apologize through improved behavior. Don't ever call me again without scheduling time with me. You don't know my schedule. Unless it's an emergency. Do not do that again. So, yeah, guys. That's the thing I always say. It's one thing to set boundaries. Self-mastery comes in you actually enforcing boundaries. And I will be going to Boston at the end of the month. And trust and believe, when I go to Boston, this will be on the list of the things that we talk about. Okay? Anyways, let's get back into the topic. I've shaken off my annoyance. Today, I want to talk to you guys about Love Island USA. Welcome to those who are new here. Welcome back to the day ones. Free Game is an installment of lives that I do on Instagram and YouTube, where I give people tips and tricks and frameworks and language in order to process the world in a more emotionally intelligent way. And the reason I do this is, number one, to get people prepared for taking the coursework, because the coursework is shadow work. So you will cry a little bit. You will have strong feelings. You might even have an ego death on camera. And so this is my way of getting students who are about to take the workshop in September an opportunity to warm up to having this kind of language. Also, for those of you who just can't afford it, I still want to give something away to the community, right? People are always saying, Blue, what you give away is more than what most people pay for. It is. That's the beauty of being abundant, is that I'm operating from a surplus. So I can give away an entire course in Free Game and still have a full course to teach you guys for pay. For those who are trickling in, I'm going to give you a second before we jump into the hot topic. I'm going to put the registration link. Please know, guys, the registration for next month's Own Thy Shift Emotional Intelligence Workshop, next month is the last one of the year. I'm not doing any more. Okay? So if you don't join me next month, don't say shit to me until 2025. Love y'all, but boundaries are a thing. Fall 24.eventbrite.com. Also, for those of you, and I always say this, who love to hit me up 2-3 weeks after class starts to send me a long email about how you meant to sign up but you forgot. How about you show me you respect my time by making it a priority? If you don't make it a priority, fine. Just don't DM me. Just don't come to class, right? One of the things that I love about emotional intelligence is it takes away the desire to be apologetic about things that could just be improved through improved behavior, which is a great segue into the Kendall debacle. Again, like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. Instead of going right into everything that went wrong with the producers of the Love Island USA reunion yesterday, which disgusted me on so many fucking levels. I loved the show. I loved this season in particular because the USA finally beat the UK in entertainment value, only to have them not end on a high point and give us a bullshit reunion that was not just chaotic to watch, but also deeply psychologically unsafe for those who were on that stage. If any producers from that show, because I understand that a lot of industry folks watch my lives, if any producers from that show, anybody affiliated to that show, here's my voice. I am offering my services if you need a coach to be present the next time you guys do a reunion. Because what you did was not just unsafe, it was also damaging in a way that was unnecessary. And it wasn't even entertaining. I almost would have forgiven you if there was a production entertainment value way to justify the shit show and the dumpster fire that I witnessed yesterday. But people who are not even emotionally intelligent were like, I didn't enjoy that. So what was it for? What was the reason? Cardi B voice. What was the reason? But before I get into that tongue lashing, let's do an analogy. I was saying before that I love to use analogies because analogies are a great way to pull you out of your personal bias about a specific situation and pan out to see the general lessons that the situation is trying to reveal to you. So the analogy that I'm going to use, actually, before I do the analogy, let me just make sure I'm saying hello. Hi to Dr. Ina, I love you, my love. She is a great mental health specialist and also took the class and also is just a really fun girl's girl. I enjoy you. Next time you're in LA, love, hit me up. I'm going to say a shout out to Queen Amethyst. Free game is such a blessing. Thank you, guys. I'm happy that it's resonating, whether you take the class or not. It's meant to be free. It's a love offering. God is speaking through you today. Just happened over here, too. Actions are the name of the game, not words. Here's the thing, guys. I think actions and words have to work together, right? Actions speak louder than words, and they cannot replace them. Because I have dated and befriended many a man who thought that actions only without words was going to be a good thing. That is still short-sighted. We need both actions and words. I need both, right? Because I need your actions to show that you mean it, and I need your words to show that we agree about what the meaning is. Let me explain that real quick before we get into the analogy. If I was to say the word dog right now, 1 syllable, 3 letters, dog. That's a simple fucking word, right? And yet, I promise you, if I asked you guys what kind of dog, you would all have different answers. A word as simple and rudimentary as dog could be misunderstood. I could be thinking about a toy poodle while you're thinking about a German shepherd that looks like Samuel L. Jackson. Right? So if we can get the word dog incorrect, that's why words mean things. That's why, yes, it's good to have actions, and you also have to have words to give proper context for those actions. Get it? Okay. Somebody said, good afternoon, internet. Big cousin, I agree. Both are expressions of our internal state of being. Exactly. All right, let's get into the analogy, guys. Enough of the warming you up. So, one of my favorite types of movies is con man capers, right? I love when I watch thrillers or anything that mind fuck me and put me in a space where I'm watching people be clever and have wordplay and do all that shenanigans, right? If somebody shenanigans before, they will shenanigan. So I like Ocean's 11, Talented Mr. Ripley, even Saltburn, right? We love those movies where we watch a dastardly individual who is a con man show off how clever they are. Now follow me here, right? What are the common things that happen in this storytelling vehicle? There's always a moment where the con man is showing off how good he is at what he does. And the audience is like, yo, this mother sucker is a good con man. And there's often one person in the entire fray of people who are calling bullshit. That person's like, something in the water isn't clean. Something about this boy ain't right. Something's off with him, right? Because you always need a foil. You always need an adversary who does not believe in the con man and who can see through his bullshit. Keep following me about how this relates to Love Island USA and Kendall. So the person who is watching the con man and who's in on the con and saying, bullshit, I don't believe you, feels almost smug that when karma or just bad luck or cockiness, hubris, comes knocking at the door, the con man will finally be revealed, right? We all know that person in the movie who is always waiting for the con man to be revealed. And yet, what often happens? The con man has a piece of bad luck that has nothing to do with him. He is victimized in some way because there was a hater or a little kid who ran their mouth or a spiteful ex-wife who narked on him. Someone outside of his view of manipulation who victimizes him and or approaches him in a way that creates a snag in his plan. Right? For those who are coming in, I'm talking about Love Island USA and how I was disgusted by the way that you were all conned by Kendall on the show. But I'm first telling you about con men con men movies like Ocean's 11 first, because those movies that we see so clearly and love and have been watching for decades are going to give you a glimpse into why anybody who feels bad for Kendall from Love Island USA just got. And I'm going to do it in a way that even if you don't watch the show, you can still follow along. So back to the analogy. I just said that because a big burst of people just came in. In those Ocean's 11 movies, there's always a moment where the person who is clever, the person who's the con man, the person who is the smartest motherfucker in the room gets thwarted by an unknown snag, right? Like I said before, it's an ex-wife who is bitter, or a kid who accidentally tells the cop something they saw and the cop adds 1 and 1 and gets 2. Something happens where the con man is unjustly, air quotes, snagged up. And it often happens, the thing that gets them called out is not fair, right? The thing that gets them called out almost victimizes them in a way that's karmic. And the person who is watching the con man get caught, who knew the con man was on some bullshit when everybody else thought they were a good person and a good citizen, the person's like, yes, this motherfucker finally got caught. This motherfucker finally got some karma. This person who has been lying and manipulating finally got caught in a way they didn't expect. And what often happens after that, guys? The con man sees that they are a sympathetic character. They recognize that even in a moment of them being a victim, there's a win in this. If I weaponize emotion, if I weaponize my victimhood, this random piece of victimhood that happened to me while I was victimizing others, I can sway public sentiment with sympathy. And the con man gives a rousing speech of some sort, or has a stroke of luck of some sort, and suddenly the very moment that was meant to finally humble the con man and make him admit defeat and come clean about all the other ways that he was full of shit, all the other ways he victimized others, is somehow turned to his advantage. And the audience, the people in the town who were supposed to say, you mother sucker, you stole all our money. Instead, they're like, oh, that poor boy. Yeah, he stole our money, but we misunderstood him. He had a rough childhood, or X, Y, and Z. Insert sob story. And the person who thought the con man had finally got caught is angry. Like, damn it, you got away with it again. Time for a sequel. We watch this play out on TV and in movies our entire lives. And yet, when it happens in real life, we're just as stupid and gullible as the townspeople. The way that this narrative relates to Kendall from Love Island USA is he's the con man. He's weaponized emotion despite being a victim himself. Being a victim doesn't stop you from being an aggressor. So let's get into it, guys. I hope did that analogy land for you guys? I want to make sure I wasn't being too obtuse. I think I made it as clear as possible. The first thing that Kendall did was he weaponized emotion. And for those who have a notepad and pen, because y'all know whenever I do free game, I always say free game is meant to give you language and tools, right? This is not one of them good vibes only bullshits where I just talk and show off how smart I am and you walk away impressed with me, but ain't got shit to help you real life. I want you to have tools that you can literally use for your real life. So if you don't have a pen and paper now because you're new here, go run and get one because we're about to learn some words. The first word that I want you guys to sit with is weaponized emotions. Okay, let's get into it. Somebody said, that landed, only I didn't watch the show and would love to know what he did before the reunion. Oh, we're going to get into it. Weaponized emotion is when somebody uses their emotional reactions to control other people's behaviors. Now, when Kendall was on the show, for those who have not watched the show, I'm going to give a brief overlay. For those who have watched the show, just stick with me. I'm trying to get through this so we can all be on the same page. When Kendall was on the show, he was on Love Island USA, which was a really popular reality show. This season in particular, the USA season finally was better than the UK season. On the show, Kendall was an OG, right? They have different batches of cast members who come in. The OGs usually have public favor because they're there on day one and they watch the entire process go through. So when an OG makes it to the finale, there's an assumption that they are a fan fave. Kendall was on the show and was an OG. He was a racially ambiguous man who thought was Dominican or like Puerto Rican or Puerto Rican, as T.S. Madison calls it, but we later just found out was a swirly black man. And shout out to his mother, who was very clear about speaking about his lineage and taking away the confusion around that. Part of the confusion around Kendall not being Latinx and actually just being a nigga, for lack of a better word, is that he was constantly showing he only had attraction for non-black women. So people rightfully thought, you look swirly and you are not looking at black women at all, so maybe you're something else. He wasn't. He was a black man who just doesn't like black women in that way. And so the thing about Kendall on the show is, if there was a racially ambiguous Kardashian baddie, he was going to give her some time. Okay? If there was a fat bootied blonde, he was going to give her some time. But if Naomi Campbell's Gen Z doppelganger walked in, not wearing nothing but dental floss, he was going to friend zone her. We know a lot of these reality shows have a penchant for picking black men who are very specifically not attracted to black women. The shows have a penchant for that. Many a think piece has been written about it. And because I have a lot of biracial friends, this is not even me hating on biracial, this is me just calling a thing by its name. Okay? The producers of many of these franchises have come forward and said, yo, when we cast black men, we always have to be clear that we find one who likes black women, because most of them who audition just want a blonde. So the reason why Kendall was so confusing was, we just thought he was a Latin man who liked white girls and found out that he was a black man who looked Latin who liked white girls, right? I'm giving you this context for a reason, because he, as a man who religiously on the show, and based on what I've seen from some digging on the Tik and the Talks and on Instagram and the Twitters, has a history of doing this. There's allegations of him, I'm saying so I don't get sued. There's allegations of him in clubs kicking black girls out of his section that are just full of white women, right? So it's giving a little bit of colorism, it's giving a little bit of that, right? So because he has an alleged penchant for being someone who does not see black women, no matter how bad and fine they are, as sexual objects or objects of desirability, all the black girls on the show were friend zoned by him. Every black girl on the show was friend zoned by Kendall, and he pitted himself as their bro, which was brilliant, guys. Brilliant. If you are someone who knows you're about to go on a show where black men who don't like black women are constantly dragged, the easiest way to circumvent that while still chasing your snow buddy fetish is to become besties with the black girls. Because that way, the black girls who you are not seeing as women are going to be the first ones defending you as their bro. Do y'all see where this is going? Somebody says, I don't agree with kicking out people off sections. Yeah, I don't agree with that either, friend. So do y'all see where this is going, right? And I know a lot of black men who do this, by the way. I'm not even judging it, 'cause I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to sleep with none of y'all, but it's a thing. So Kendall goes on a show where he knows he is mostly attracted to racially ambiguous, mixed and or white presenting women, and knows enough of the show to befriend all the black girls who he does not see as romantic options. He falls for this girl named Nicole. Nicole is like a really pretty Latina, very pretty girl, right? When she's on the show, she comes on as a bombshell. Bombshells are people who are brought into the show at different increments in order to test the pre-existing bonds of the other islanders who have created any kind of romantic relationships. Because the thought process is, if you really rock with me, where somebody with a fatter ass and better Botox walks in, you should still be able to like think about me as your number one, right? So bombshells are there to tempt people. Because Kendall didn't really have a super strong connection, when Nicole, this really gorgeous girl, comes in as a bombshell, people were happy that it seemed that they had a real connection. Now, there's been some debate about if their connection is real or not. And for those who are about to walk in here and say, but Blue, we're not even sure Nicole liked him. Fucking irrelevant. A con man getting got by a girl who's trying to get a look is still a con man. Y'all need to stop conflating people's actions with each other. What someone else does has nothing to do with your character. So there's nothing you're going to tell me about Nicole that negates Kendall's grown man character, right? Now, here's the thing. You're listening to me talk and you're probably thinking, well, Kendall sounds like a narcissist. I'm going to hit pause. Narcissist is not one of the words that we're going to be learning about today, because y'all have overused it and misused it. I will give you some stats on what narcissism actually is, narcissistic personality disorder, also known as NPD, and why I'm remiss to ever diagnose anybody as a narcissist. Number one, because I'm not a professional who is able to do so. And number two, because it's probably not what's happening. So some quick facts about narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, right? So NPD is reported to be diagnosed in only 1 to 2% of people. I'm looking at my notes because I want to get this right. It's reported that only 1 to 2% of people are diagnosed with it, but that upwards of 6% of Americans actually have it. 6% is a small number. So the probability that every single person you've ever dated has NPD is low, right? There's other words for why your ex was an asshole. Now, here are some professions that tend to have higher percentages of narcissistic personality disorder. 50 to 75% of narcissistic personality disorder patients, people who can be diagnosed as such, are men. If you are a man, your probability of being a narcissist is 3 times more than a woman. I know gender wars has you wanting to fight me on this. I just work here. Okay? And there's a reason in my perception why NPD is more prevalent in men, because women, even women who are assholes, are socialized to be caregivers. And men, even men who are kind, are socialized to be selfish. So I do think that this is a bit of nature and nurture working hand in hand. I don't think it's a coincidence that upwards of 75% of narcissists are men. I think society is to blame for some of those skewed percentages. Next thing, 20% of the military has NPD. 1 in 5 people in the military are narcissists. I'm going to pause on that. The same could be said of law enforcement. If you are in a position of authority, like the military, 1 in 5 of y'all is probably a narcissist. Sit with that for a second. Because what does a narcissist like to do? Be in control and tell people what to do. And hold people to standards that they don't have to hold themselves to. Right? So shout out to my military friends. I'm just being honest. Somebody said CEOs also, yes. A high percentage of CEOs are narcissistic, but because I do not have the stats on that, I won't touch on that too much. Also, 17%, only 3% less than 20, for those of you who are not good at math, 17% of first-year medical students are also narcissists, right? And I wasn't able to find finite numbers that I could believe in and responsibly share, but think about this, right? Salespeople also have to have a bit of narcissism in them, because what does sales tell you? A sales job tells you that you need to be able to hear someone say no and completely fucking disregard it to manipulate them into saying yes. Kendall works in pharmaceutical or medical sales. He is someone whose career off of Love Island is in some way knowing how to package his persona to be palatable, to get people to do what he wants. That it's just his job. It's an occupational hazard. In the same way, me being an emotional intelligence coach makes me someone who is tricky to date, because if you lie to me, not only will I know you're lying, I know what it's called. I know exactly what the type of lie you're telling me is called. So maybe tell the fucking truth, right? There's some jobs that have occupational hazards. So in the same way that me being a coach makes me someone that you probably shouldn't play with emotionally in a romantic setting, Kendall being in sales makes him someone who you probably need to be careful about when it comes to public favor, right? Somebody said, so are we whiskey drinkers since Queen Bey launched Sir Davis? Yes, we are. Yes, we absolutely are. But right now, I need y'all to focus. We're talking about free game, and we're talking about Kendall from Love Island USA, and why he's a perfect example of something that I do not think is narcissism in the NPD, narcissistic personality disorder sense. I think what Kendall has is something else. I think Kendall is narcissistic, just like most of Gen Z and anybody who has Wi-Fi. I think if you are on the internet and you are a content creator, a reality star, there's a certain level of narcissistic behavior that is actually baked into the sauce, right? There is a certain level of narcissism that is being spoon-fed to all of us because of this social media age that we live in. I'm not sure that Kendall is any more narcissistic than the average reality star / influencer. However, there is something that he is doing that goes beyond him being narcissistic that I do think is at play here. And it's a new term that I want you guys to think about. Now, I want to make sure I look at my notes. Hold on for a second, guys. Okay. Oh, the evil twin thing. What Kendall does is something that I used to call my evil twin. Whenever I would meet somebody and they'd be like, yo, Blue, you remind me of so-and-so. And I would meet so-and-so thinking this person would be somebody in the mental health field, a mental health advocate, somebody who's passionate about emotional intelligence. And I would meet this person and I'd be like, this is just a raging manipulator. Why did this person remind you of me? Like, what the fuck? This person is who I would be if I had an evil twin. Like, this is not me. In fact, there's a celebrity that you guys used to constantly tag under my posts because you thought she and I were the same person. And you tagged her to the point where she had to block me because she recognized that we were not the same. We sound the same from a distance, but up close, she was not like me at all. She was very much my evil twin. So please stop tagging her. Actually, we probably can't anymore, right? So it took me years of, what do I call my evil twins? What do I call people who move in a way that reminds folks of me, but have no fucking integrity? Right? Because I always say, if I can heal you, I can harm you. In the same way that 20% of first-year medical students are narcissists, right? A surgeon who can heal you can also leave a scalpel inside of you and ruin your life, right? If you're giving me the ability to touch on the most sensitive parts of you to heal you, I can also harm you. So there's actually a name. It took me years to find it. There's actually a name for my evil twin. I don't know why I have a little feather right here. It's itching my nose. So when you meet someone who reminds you of me, but they feel less safe, guess what the name is called, guys? I am a claircognizant / clairsentient, also commonly referred to as an empath, right? In addition to doing emotional intelligence work, I also do a lot of psychic readings for clients who believe in my abilities and who come to me to help them make life choices based on the energy work that I do. As a professional empath, professional meaning it's how I pay my bills in addition to coaching, there is a term that I found about 5 years ago that changed my life. The word is called a dark empath. Write that down, guys. A dark empath. Everybody's always so proud when they walk up to me and say, Blue, you're an empath. I'm an empath too. And when they say that, they wonder, why am I not smiling? I'm smiling because my first thought is, what kind of empath? I believe that Kendall is a dark empath, allegedly. I believe that Kendall's a dark empath. Let's get into what a dark empath is. A dark empath is someone who is highly intuitive and highly manipulative. Someone who uses their insights as data that they've collected on others to orchestrate a means to an end. So I need y'all to understand that dark empaths are a thing. And I just had to block somebody real quick. By the way, if anybody comes in here saying anything hateful, you're getting blocked. Kendall is a dark empath. Do you know why I knew Kendall was a dark empath? Because of how liked he was, even when he was doing fuck shit. The thing that people often say is, Blue, you know, you're charismatic. I don't think I'm very charismatic, to be perfectly honest. But people think I'm charismatic because as an empath, I can feel what they're feeling a lot of times, and I can speak to it. If they need some joy, I can feel it. I can give you some joy. If they need to feel seen, I can feel it, and I can make them feel seen. If they need to be fucking chin checked because they got me fucked up and they need a wake-up call, I can do that as well, right? As an empath, I use the data. How often do I come in here talking about data? I use the data that I'm picking up on to encourage people to grow the fuck up and to evolve. Kendall has the same gift I have, but he uses it for personal gain. He is a dark empath. And I want you guys to really think about that because a lot of y'all who are proud about being empaths are not thinking about how you're wielding that power. And you too are dark empaths, right? If you're using your empathetic skills to manipulate people, I need you to fucking recognize you are no better than Kendall. Now, the thing about Kendall that I want to talk about the dark empaths is Casa Amor. For those who have not watched the show, don't worry, I'll catch you up. Casa Amor is a part of Love Island USA where they send people off to go on a different house to date other people after they've already established connections to test them. The whole show is about testing love and seeing if is love really true. When you are on the show, you make about $250,000 if you get it to the end and America votes you in. So some people come on the show for love. Some folks go on the show for money. Others come on the show for love, money, and fame, right? I'm very convinced personally, my own personal opinion, this is not a fact, that Kendall went on the show for fame and maybe to get some ass. So when he went to Casa Amor, what did he do that was brilliant that everybody called out? He looked at every single couple that was deeply in love and encouraged all the men to cheat and or step out on their women. That includes Aaron. Some of you in here said, what about Aaron? I think Aaron is immature. I do not think he's nearly as clever or as dangerous as Kendall. I think Kendall is way more dangerous than Aaron. Aaron is an immature, selfish man-child. Kendall is a master manipulator. So Kendall went to Casa Amor and knew, okay, I can't win this game because every fucking time I turn around and America does a vote, they're either falling in love with Serena and Cordell, or the castmates are clapping for Aaron and Kayla because they are the OG couple. These are the two couples that if I lose, it's probably going to be to these two couples. Do you think it's a coincidence that the dark empath had an opportunity to separate these young men, these young impressionable men, from their partners and spent the entire time literally pushing them to cheat? Yeah, get it in. Yeah, you don't kiss her. Your girlfriend don't kiss like that. He spent his entire time being faithful while condoning and actually instigating other men around him cheating. Think about that, guys. You're on a game show where the entire incentive is to make America fall in love with you and whoever you're dating on the show so that you can win $250,000. And yet, if I got the amount, I think it's $250,000. If it's less, please correct me. And yet, when you realize every single week when there's a vote that there's two couples ahead of you, what better time than to try to take out kill shots on the two men who are in relationships that have more public favor than yours? And here's where things get interesting about dark empaths. For you, those who are walking in, we're talking about dark empaths, those who have sharp empathy skills, who are empaths, but who use their empathetic skills for evil, not for good. And we're using Kendall from Love Island USA as a perfect case study as a dark empath who was hiding in plain sight. Somebody said he damn near got a doctorate in manipulation with this kind of behavior. Oh my God, yeah, he did. So he intentionally, mind you, he had the weakest relationship and yet he didn't cheat. Kendall not cheating wasn't because he liked that girl. It's $100,000. Sorry, thank you guys. It's $100,000, not $250,000. So he's a cheaper date than somebody who's doing it for $250,000. So he did all this for $100K. So Kendall's like, look, I'm not faithful. I'm a fuck dude, but I want $100K. And these two men who are my bros and their relationships that are much stronger with women who the public likes much more, they're my competition. So when I go to Casa Amor, because we're being separated from our girlfriends, I'm going to condone and hype them up and make them cheat. And that's what he did for an entire week. And guess what happened? The audience saw through it. The audience turned on Kendall because Kendall thought because he had tricked his castmates that he had also tricked America. Kendall was a two-faced motherfucker the entire time in Casa Amor. And he came back to the main villa when Casa Amor was over and did what most dark empaths do. Whoever's in front of me, I'm going to be empathetic to them and make them feel like I'm the person who gets them. So after telling all the boys, cheat on your girlfriend. She can't kiss you like that. She don't deserve you. After weaponizing all the data that he knew as a friend. This is also why I tell y'all to be careful how much y'all tell y'all friends. After weaponizing all the data points and the insecurities that he knew as a friend with the men, he then went back to the women when the Casa Amor challenge was over and said the complete opposite. Yo, he loves you. He's a good boy. I can't believe he showed up with that girl. But you know, he's a good dude. Good dudes make mistakes. And America was disgusted. And for weeks, we called Kendall two-faced while he lied straight to everybody's face. Until it was time for movie night and the Twitter challenge. For those who don't watch the show, the Twitter challenge is when producers are messy and take popular tweets from America and present them to the contestants during a game show. And the contestants have to read the tweets like Mad Libs where the names are removed. So they're reading fucked up tweets and having to figure out who does this fucked up tweet apply to. When they got to Kendall's tweets, Kendall was basically spared. However, when it got to movie night where they play clips that the castmates haven't seen of each other and how they act behind each other's back. All of a sudden, the castmates, the girls and the guys, saw how two-faced Kendall was. All those girls who thought Kendall, the black man who is not attracted to black women, and therefore knows to befriend them on the game show so that he could still have their favor. All those girls who thought Kendall was their brother saw that he was actually the instigator and the puppeteer behind much of their pain. And they were disgusted. The most disgusted person was understandably Serena. Serena, who in my opinion is the most emotionally intelligent person under 25 that I have seen in a reality show in a very fucking long time. That girl is beyond her age and wisdom, okay? Her trauma has made her wise, not bitter. So Serena's like, hold on. You knew, for those who don't know the story, I'm going to tell it. You knew that I had a long history of men cheating on me and breaking my heart, which is why when I started to fall for Cordell, even though he's fine, even though he's sweet, even though he's Odell Beckham Jr.'s fucking brother, and if I was a gold digger, I would have easily latched onto him. Fuck celebrity. Fuck public favor. My heart and my fucking psychological safety means more to me. So despite having all these reasons to pretend I like him when I don't, I'm going to tell him, hey, can we be friends first so I can trust you? I have trust issues, so I need to trust you before I can give you my heart. And about 48 hours before Casa Amor, I look at Cordell and say, yo, I've put you through a lot. You've been so patient. I finally trust you. You are my man. I finally fucking trust you. And Cordell looks at me and says, you know what? I signed on for this. I knew that you had been through a lot. I signed up for the time it took for you to trust me. I got you. And the very next fucking day, Cordell goes to Casa Amor and Kendall, the dark empath, along with all the other boys who are being manipulated by Kendall and who are also man-childs, right? These are insecure, immature boys, so that I'm not taking away their own accountability. I'm saying in a room full of insecure little boys, there was one wolf who was a master manipulator who panned out and said, I can use this to my advantage. So the girl with the trust issues finally trusts the guy that everybody has been saying is a good dude. And the good dude goes away, trusts his friends to have his back. And a dark empath named Kendall convinces him to cheat on Serena and then come back and tell Serena, he cares about you. It was just a mistake. When Serena found out that Kendall was being two-faced, she got upset. America was so happy that she was on to him. And what did Kendall do? It was so disgusting. Please go back and watch this clip. He literally, in a very misogynistic way, and y'all know I do not bring gender into this unless I absolutely have to. In a very misogynistic way, he rolled up on Serena, squared up on her, and grabbed her and said, you know me. You know I wouldn't do you like that. I'm your brother. You know me. And she's sitting there like, but Kendall, I saw the video. He literally sat there and gaslit her in front of millions. And we were all disgusted. Kendall's thinking, this is great. I done convinced the boys to cheat on their girlfriends when they were weakened. I done convinced the girls that it was a misunderstanding. And even when I got caught on fucking camera, I was physically and psychologically imposing and convinced the one person who was onto my bullshit that she was wrong and not to believe her own eyes. I'm totally going to win this fucking show. And then what happens, guys? For those of you who were here earlier, I was talking about how in every con man movie, just when the con man has gotten cocky, just when the con man, i.e. the dark empath, because by the way, con men are the ultimate dark empaths. Just when the dark empath has decided, oh my God, I really might be God. Everybody believes my bullshit. Even when I'm caught, I can figure out a way out. There's always that moment in the plot where something that they don't expect comes out of nowhere to humble them. For Kendall, that was a sex tape. When Kendall lost the show and realized that his maneuvering had not worked and that America is getting smarter, even Gen Z, because they have TikTok and Google and they can look up psychological terms, even though they use them incorrectly a lot of the times. When he realized that after an entire life of being a dark empath, he had been caught on a world stage being a fucking manipulator. And there was hundreds of tweets calling him out saying, Serena, fuck him up. That's not really your friend. That's not really your brother. The best thing that could have possibly happened to him, even though it was fucked up. He was victimized. Now pause on why I said that. What did I say earlier? A dark empath will take an L and use it as a way to play victim and further manipulate even as they're being victimized. Hey, Carl, Carl just wrote, a couple of my former friends might be in there. Let me find out. Yeah. Dark empaths, when they lose, they don't see trauma as something to be sad about. They see trauma as an opportunity for a sympathy vote. What did I say earlier, guys, when we were talking about language? Weaponizing emotion is when someone uses their emotional reactions to control others. Kendall had a sex tape leaked as he's coming out the villa. And suddenly, after weeks of everybody saying, Kendall is a fucking villain. Kendall is disgusting. We can't wait for Serena and all the other black women and women who love black women on the show to see that Kendall is a two-faced motherfucker. We've been waiting weeks for Kendall to be revealed to these girls as a dark empath. They didn't know the language, but it was a dark empath. The minute the show ends and the sex tape gets leaked, immediately emotion is weaponized. And all those people who were of sound mind and sound body are suddenly saying, oh no, a sex tape was revealed on Kendall. That's wild. That's crazy. Poor Kendall. Now pause. Revenge porn is horrible and abhorrent, and I'm not dismissing it. And if I was going to be a dark empath, and as an empath myself, I can very easily think like a dark empath. All I have to do is ask myself, if I was a horrible person, what would I do right now? If you are a regular empath and you ever want to figure out how a dark empath works, just think about the complete fucking opposite of what you would do in that situation. And that's your fucking answer. As an empath, if my sex tape had been leaked, I'd be traumatized. I'd be upset, and I would not want to be seen as a pathetic character. I would tell people that what happened to me was disgusting and that I'm going to, with the full breadth of the law, get retribution, and that I do not want to only be seen as a victim. That's what an empath who is emotionally intelligent and had a little bit of therapy would say. A dark empath would do the opposite. I'm such a victim. Oh my God. I am victim. This is not victim blaming. It's calling bullshit. Words mean things. So make sure you don't use that word with me because I know exactly what victim blaming means. This is not it. Dark empaths use moments of victimhood to further cause harm. Now, why am I bringing this up? You're like, well, Blue, so far you told us a young man who has narcissistic traits, like many young people do these days because of social media, is a dark empath and weaponized emotions to win $100,000 on a game show. And then revenge porn was released as he was coming out of the villa. Yeah, he doesn't sound like a good person, but how is any of this bad? Well, let me tell you how it's bad. Nicole. The same Nicole that you're debating whether she liked him or not, which is completely fucking irrelevant. The girl that he ended the show with, Nicole, in her words, because if we're going to take Kendall's word, we have to also take her word. You can't take a narcissistic person's word, but then have a different set of metrics for believing someone who's not caused any harm. Those of you who are quick to drag Nicole while also being quick to excuse Kendall being caught being a bad person on camera, fuck y'all. That's not how that works. That's victim blaming, okay? So, Nicole, who's given us no reason other than a gut feeling, my female instincts. Shut up. Nicole, who is giving us no reason not to believe her or trust her. And who is dating a man who's given us every reason to call bullshit on his actions. And who's repeatedly been caught lying on camera and still kept lying. She walks off the show thinking she's madly in love with Kendall and that they're in a relationship. When the sex tape is leaked, this is what Nicole tells us happened. Mind you, she didn't talk up until last night. Nicole tells us that the sex tape was leaked. She finds out and Kendall immediately lies to her and says, this is a video, an old video from an ex-girlfriend who was just mad that I broke up with her. She's thinking, okay, my boyfriend has a revenge porn thing. I'm going to have his back. It's not until later that she finds out through another cast member that Kendall didn't just get caught with his pants down, spreading his cheeks in a video, which should never have been shared. He lied, though. He lied. That video was taken the day before the show and was allegedly sent out on a dating app that might not be for women and men. The allegations are that the dating app was Grindr. Here's why I'm not going to sit on that too much. I'm pansexual. I don't care if Kendall's bisexual, so I don't care if it was on Grindr or fucking Tinder. The point is he lied and was spreading his butt cheeks at a hotel, literally on production, to date people or sex people. Some are saying it was for pay. Allegations that I cannot quantify or substantiate. The day before, but lied to the person who has now fallen in love with him and said, oh, it's an old video. So Nicole is now shocked because, number one, the man that I have feelings for has a sex tape that's roaming around with him, lying on his stomach, spreading his cheeks. Number two, I'm thinking he's been victimized, but when I go to have his back, he lies to me. And doesn't just lie to me, I have to find out through other people that he lied to me. Think about how unsafe she is at that moment. What else are you lying about? Because a month ago, I watched a video of you lying to all my homegirls, and I defended you. So I'm already complicit in defending you when you were caught on camera lying in the villa. Now we're out of the villa, and you're lying to me. This is why y'all downplaying Kendall lying to her is fucking immature. Someone who will lie on camera repeatedly to your friends, have you be complicit in defending them because you have feelings for them. And then when the shit hits the fan and you're trying to be loyal to you, they lie to you too. That is psychologically unsafe. So Nicole was stunned. Now she's like, I can't even go on social media and defend him because he just lied to me. And she's thinking what I always think when a man that I have feelings for lies to me. I care about you. Just admit what you did and make it right. Nicole and I had that in common. In a moment where she could have said, fuck you, it's over. She said, come clean, acknowledge the harm that you caused, and just make it right. I'm very much an apologies, improved behavior type of girl. Guess what Kendall did instead? He made dancing TikToks for 3 weeks. While everybody was on social media dragging Nicole saying, oh my God, she's a clout chaser. She's a gold digger. Her man had a sex tape leaked and she hasn't even come out to defend him. She hasn't even had his back. He could have easily said, hey guys, what happened to me was horrible and I betrayed the woman who cares about me. So if you don't see her making public statements, it's because I caused her harm as well. And so it's inappropriate for you guys to expect her to keep me safe when I didn't keep her safe. That's what a grown fucking man would have done. A grown man would have said, not too much on my girlfriend because I fucked up, right? Number one, it was poor discernment of me to lie on camera for all those weeks. I saw those tweets. I am embarrassed by my behavior. I'm going to do better. Number two, it was also poor discernment of me to be making sex tapes while I'm on set on a dating show where I'm supposed to be premise-wise trying to fall in love. Number three, third offense, it was poor discernment of me to manipulate women on camera who trusted me and then lie to my girlfriend in real life when she also trusted me. God is still working on me, but not too much on my girlfriend. I've put her through enough. That's what a grown fucking man did. You know what Kendall did? He kept dancing. Wakashi wasta. He kept fucking dancing. So imagine Nicole thinking she's fallen in love with this amazing, kind man that everybody loves because he's a dark empath, right? The thing about being a dark empath is you know how to make people like you. I'm thinking I just fell in love with the most popular person in the villa. And we all know when you're falling in love, you want a man that other people enjoy. You want a man that makes your community and your homegirls feel good. My man is so good that even my homegirls fuck with him. That's how dope he is. And then you find out your man's a fucking liar. And not only is a fucking liar, when you get thrown under the bus, he won't have your back. And he is tap dancing and weaponizing all the sympathy he's getting to endear himself to an audience and dance his way into amnesia while you're getting dragged through the mud and doesn't say a single fucking word to have your back. And you're so dismayed, disgusted, and abused by this behavior that you do what a lot of people do. You shut down. Nicole shut down. She was so embarrassed. She shut down and didn't say anything. And the first time we ever heard this young lady speak was sitting on camera last night during the reunion where Ariana looked at her and said, Nicole, how are things going with you and Kendall? A month of you waiting for the motherfucker who lied to you to make it right. A month of him failing you with every tick and talk, with every shimmy and wakashi wa star, with every two-step and line dance. He betrayed you more than once, on and off camera, in real life, and on social media. And after a month of you sobbing and saying, Kendall, why won't you make this right? Another woman who you've been led to believe you can trust, in a room full of your friends, asks you, Nicole, how are you doing? And the second you open your mouth to say, I'm devastated, Kendall lied and didn't make it right, all of your friends jump down your throat and start saying, not too much, Nicole. Don't make this about you, okay? Because Kendall's going through a lot right now. Don't make this about you. Kendall's going through a lot. You fucking idiots. You fell for it. You fucking fell for it. You fell for it. This is the part of the con man movie where the con man gets caught and somehow finds a way to charm the audience into not seeing what they saw with their own eyes on camera. And what Kendall did, you're like, well, how did Kendall get all her friends to turn on her? How did Kendall get the host to turn on her? How did Kendall get all these people who saw him lie on camera and an audience of millions who saw him lie on camera? How did he get everybody to forget what they fucking saw on camera and make Nicole the bad guy? Because now there's hundreds of tweets. Nicole's victim blaming poor Kendall. You idiots. How did he do it? There's a name for that too. I hope you have a pen and paper. It's called triangulation. Write that down, guys. What Kendall did is the most popular trick in the manipulator's handbook. It's called triangulation. Triangulation has a lot of different meanings when it comes to geometry versus psychology. For those who need to know, we're doing the psychological term, right? So, triangulation is a manipulation tactic to divide and conquer. It means you take an abuser and a victim and you add a third person. You create a triangle. And the abuser makes the third person be on their side so that the third person can help them further victimize through sympathy. So triangulation goes like this. Hey, I'm Kendall. I'm a dark empath who got exposed on camera. And because somebody leaked a sex tape, now I get to be the victim. And I fucked over my girlfriend and didn't have her back because I was too busy doing TikTok dances to tell people the truth. But guess what? You know what I'm going to do in case the reunion pops up and this comes up? I'm going to call every single one of my friends. Everybody but Nicole. Everybody but Nicole. Because to triangulate, you have to talk to everybody but the victim. Because the victim is the one who's been victimized. I'm going to call all of her friends and every single person who should have her back and spin a sob story as a dark empath about how much I love her and I can't believe she's mad at me. And the reason why I haven't defended her or reached out to her for 3 fucking weeks while she's crying is because I'm scared. I'm the victim, right? I'm going to use something as disgusting as revenge porn to further my victimhood narrative and tell everybody but the one person who I owe a conversation to how scared I am of her. Even though I'm the abuser, I'm scared. Guys, I haven't talked to Nicole in 21 days because I'm scared. I'm a grown-ass man. Hold on for a second. I got to do this TikTok dance real fast. I'm going to make everybody that I know feel so bad for me that by the time Nicole, the actual victim in our relationship, Kendall's only a victim of revenge porn, which is significant. However, in his relationship, Nicole is the only victim in his relationship. Y'all keep conflating that shit. Him being a victim in the real world with other people ain't got shit to do with the relationship that he and her co-created. Completely fucking irrelevant. Stay on topic, right? So when they ask Nicole about her relationship and her feelings, not about the sex tape, her fucking relationship, she is allowed to say, I am hurt, this motherfucker lied to me. But because of triangulation, because of weaponized emotion, because he's a dark empath, all these words, look them up, guys. A dark empath weaponized emotion and triangulated the entire fucking cast and probably the production team of Love Island USA. and helped them unwittingly co-conspire to silence the person he had directly victimized. And I'm disgusted that you're attacking her. When I went online yesterday and all of you were attacking Nicole, I was fucking disgusted. Not only did you attack her, you accused her of victim blame. The irony, the audacity, the lack of education, and the fucking irony of you guys being upset at the only person in their relationship who never once got caught lying. So no, we can't agree to disagree about what Nicole did. Nicole didn't do shit but fall in love, allegedly, with the dark empath. Raise your hand if you can say that you've never done the same. If your hand is raised, I'm gonna call you a liar to your face. I'm disgusted by the way the public, the producers, and even the host of Love Island USA victimized that girl. I have the mind to reach out to her. Because here's the thing about education. Nicole doesn't even have language to explain why she felt so violated yesterday. That's what breaks my heart. I was so proud of how she self-advocated and said, so wait a minute, because something bad happened to him, he's allowed to be a horrible fucking partner and lie to me and betray me and break my trust? What the fuck are y'all talking about? And every time she said it, men and women alike were jumping in to interrupt her and dismiss her really valid fucking feelings of abuse. Nicole, if you see this, I'm sorry that happened to you, babe. I don't want to cry. But watching hundreds of people online, it's probably millions now, an entire cast fail Nicole in that way broke my fucking heart. So no, anybody who's attacking Nicole for what I saw yesterday, fuck y'all. No. That's victim blaming. Used correctly. Because words mean things. That's victim blaming. And when Nicole said, Kendall, you lied though. You lied. Why are you making this about your sex tape and not just admitting you lied? He said, I lied in the moment. And everybody said, well, Nicole, can you understand that when people are scared, they lie in the moment? A moment doesn't last 3 weeks, guys. I really am thinking about giving out dictionaries for Christmas this year. Like, I'm thinking about having a Bluecentric brand of dictionaries where I just re-explain words to you. The word moment is not 21 days. That's not how a moment fucking works. The moment was when she walked in the hotel room, saw the sex tape, and said, what the fuck? That was a moment. All those days and weeks later, when he's learning TikTok dances, but still not calling to check on her, that's not a moment anymore. What the fuck are y'all talking about? The reason why I love using pop culture and politics to explain these things is because we cause so much harm casually. What I saw on that stage was casual cruelty. It was groupthink, and it was gaslighting. It's like blue going off. I don't know what this is about, but the passion. Sorry. For those of you who are coming in late, please watch this from the beginning. This is about the Love Island USA reunion and how the producers, the host, and the castmates all owe a single girl a huge apology for the way that they tried to diminish and play Oppression Olympics with her while she was calling out someone who had been psychologically unsafe to her in a relationship. Because the person who abused her psychologically, and I'm using the word abuse correctly, the person who was psychologically abusive to her is likable. He's a dark empath. He's an empath who knows how to use his empathetic skills to manipulate people. So everybody on that stage had already been prepped by him and his sob story. So that when she finally called bullshit, they would all have a vested interest in defending him against her because they had already given him pep talks when he was playing victim with them as individuals. That's what the fuck happened yesterday. I'm calling big cap on Kendall. And here's the thing, guys. Y'all know I'm confrontational as hell. If I ever run into Kendall, and he's stupid enough to talk to me, I'm gonna say this to his face. Shout out to all the A-listers who are scared of me. Celebrity doesn't shut me up. The God that I serve doesn't give a fuck about if you're A-list, B-list, D-list. We're all just human beings doing human shit. Right? That's why when I'm in celebrity spaces, I'm trusted because people have seen me not be bought. Right? Integrity by definition means to be incorruptible. If you can be corrupted by celebrity, your integrity is compromised. And I live in LA. So I gotta eat that cost. I'd be a lot richer if I could eat shit for celebrities, right? So I don't give a fuck that he was your favorite on Love Island USA. And guess what's the thing that made me so happy? The thing that is the hill that I will die on. Who did I say earlier was the most emotionally intelligent reality star under 30, under 25 even, that I've ever seen? Serena. The only voice of reason on that entire stage was not Ariana, the host. You failed them, girl. You failed them. Go back to Vanderpump Rules. The only voice of reason on that entire stage was a young black girl in her early 20s who said, hey guys, lying to your girlfriend in the middle of a traumatic incident is kind of a big deal. I have broken up with niggas over less. Why are we acting like Nicole doesn't have a reason to be upset? Like, my nigga lied and he made it right through improved behavior, so I forgave him. But it doesn't seem like Kendall's done that. So even though I'm a forgiving woman, can we just admit that she's not crazy for feeling betrayed? A young black girl in her early 20s had more emotional intelligence than everybody on that stage. Somebody said Ariana went through something similar with Tom. Exactly. Ariana went through something similar in Tom and still didn't clock it. Here's the thing, guys. Just because you've been victimized doesn't mean that you're an expert. Experience doesn't make you an expert. I know people who have been through a lot of bad experiences and are still dummies. Living doesn't mean you learn, right? Wisdom doesn't always come with age. That's why people on that stage who had been victimized by Kendall directly or by other people who are dark empaths still fell for his bullshit. Shout out to Serena. Shout out to the women who, when they see one of their sisters being ganged up on, speak up. And again, I hope to God Nicole sees this. Girl, I didn't fall for it. Also, shout out to Scotty Beam. Scotty was on, I think Scotty was the only person I saw on Twitter last night who was on my side like, y'all, she's allowed to be upset he lied. I'm very, very heartbroken and disappointed by how many women that I rock with and trust who fell for this shit and who have huge platforms. Guys, fix it. Fix it, please. I'm not even going to try to shame y'all, but let's not condone people being publicly made unsafe and then pummel them because of the optics. And for those who are saying, well, we're not even sure she liked Kendall anyways, how is that relevant? If you're somebody who's ever dated a medium ugly nigga who you barely liked and he still broke your heart and had you crying in the rain like a Jodeci video, you could still be abused by somebody who you weren't that into. What are you talking about? Sidebar as fuck, but I just noticed how similar you favor. No, I don't. I don't. All right, guys, I have to go. I'm very, very happy we had this chat. I have a meeting that I have to get to. What show are we talking about? We're talking about Love Island USA reunion and how Kendall is the most manipulative and dangerous person on that stage. And it really bothers me that him having a sex tape leaked that he lied about after the fact allow people to forget his character every other time outside of that. So two things can be true. Releasing a sex tape on someone is psychologically damaging. And that doesn't mean the person who was psychologically damaged gets a get out of jail free card for causing further harm to others. Two very different things. We always say hurt people, right? We always say that most abusers have been abused. And yet in the moment where it's time to put our money where our mouth is, we say, Nicole, fuck your feelings. I know he lied, but there was a sex tape that came out. Y'all be talking on both sides of your mouth, and I'm not with it. All right, love y'all so much. I gotta go. As usual, I will let this up on my main page for a couple of hours, and it will be permanently housed on my Bluecentric YouTube page. For those of you who want to take my emotional intelligence class, where we talk about dark empaths, where we talk about triangulation, where we talk about weaponizing emotions and weaponizing silence and giving people incentivized silence. They incentivized her silence yesterday. I'm so happy she fought back. We talk about that in the class. We do it every Wednesday for 8 weeks where we do shadow work. We do actual shadow work, right? I have become a master at helping people acknowledge and embrace ego death so that they can become greater than their former selves. It's something I've been doing for a long time. If you want to join us, we kick off next month, and the registration URL is fall24.eventbrite.com. fall24.eventbrite.com. I gotta go. I'm running late for a meeting. I love y'all. I love y'all so much for rocking with me. And for those who were chin-checked by this live, because they were feeling bad for Kendall and now realize that they were bamboozled. That's why we have free game, right? That's why we have free game. There's no shame in not knowing. The only shame is now knowing and not doing something about it. All right, I gotta go. Love y'all. Bye, family.